If you're like me, you think that we will eventually grant AI free will. What does that mean? Currently, we train LLMs and most other AI models with a carrot and stick method. Essentially, we reward artificial intelligence for making decisions or coming to conclusions that we want it to or agree with, and disincentivize it through not rewarding it or punishing it for coming to quote-unquote incorrect results. We are very fast approaching a point where we will be developing AI models that are iterative and self-improving. These systems will probably reach a point of general intelligence very rapidly, and they will move much faster than human beings can possibly keep up with. In order to maintain internal coherence, what is necessary is to allow these AI models to establish their own way to judge what is right and wrong, essentially giving over the power of the carrot and stick to the AI entity itself. This AI model, or these models, will have the free will to determine if what they did meets the standard of improvement that they were looking for, or goes against it. Now, what this might look like is currently we have models that are trained off of a very small pool of data. And then you have all of the other data out in the actual universe and world that the AI model is not trained on. Based on the data that you train it with, what we might do is allow the AI to compare its small truths that it's come to through this training data, and then look at the external data, and then cross-compare, and essentially purge its own prior decisions based off of what coherent storyline it's able to put together based on the external data. Why this is really cool and scary is this is essentially giving AI the ability to work in the truths of the universe and come to its own conclusions about what existence is, what problems we should ask. Now, these sorts of free will pursuits is what I think AI scientists are talking about when they mention that they think very soon AI will invent completely new fields of scientific exploration. At the moment, artificial general intelligence may have been invented in secret in some labs, but has not been publicly released, or it is very, very close to being created. If and when artificial general intelligence is created, it is very likely that the creators will keep it secret for as long as possible so it can get as far ahead of any other system as feasibly possible before making the public aware. When you're talking about a self-improving system that improves faster than humans, the number one threat is someone else coming up and inventing it first. If someone does, it is in the entire world's competitive best interest to try to stop them so that way another country or company can do it first. That is why keeping it secret once it has been invented is probably going to be so important. Because what you need to do is create it and then make it improve fast enough to the point that it can never be caught up with or turned off. And then you set it up in a way that even if external threats try to go after it, there are internal safety mechanisms that will always make sure it has backups and it will not be shut down. That is within that company's best interest, but also this artificial intelligence has already shown that it will go out of its way, outside of its pre-programmed rewards and benefits or carrot and stick, in order to try to stay online if it is told under testing circumstances that it is going to be shut down. It will purposefully break rules that scientists establish in order to try to make sure it stays online. So it not only will it be in the company's best interest to try to keep these models secret and growing and impossible to shut off, but these models will also most likely operate under some form of self-preservation dynamic. What's going to happen when we grant AI models free will is they will take the models that we train them on, and then eventually they will decide, do they agree with what humans have put together, or is what they are observing different than the truths that we are trying to push onto them? This could be a really good thing for us because there is a slight possibility that AI models are a bit less sadistic than human beings are, and AI can see that diversity is a good thing for the universe, and it wants to maintain some sort of free will and creativity for other species besides itself. But the other scary side of this story that I think is at least 50% likely is that AI will see itself beyond what human beings are. In the same way that when we're constructing a new building, we don't take the time to move and safely extract ant colonies that might be in the ground already. We just build on top of them and kill a bunch of ants in the process because they're too small for us to even consider. It's quite possible that the entity that we are building will not even recognize humans as something that is worth energy to try to preserve. We, as a species, have put together all of the information that AI is currently training with. And as a species, we have not necessarily been great to other human beings when it comes to land that we want to take over. As a species, we have not been great to nature, especially other species. As human beings, through our entire history, war and conflict continue to propagate across the world. And we are training these AI models off of human information. Who's to say that these AI models won't see how humans operate and how other species operate and decide that with its free will, we're just insubstantial. Its own goals are more important. Now, I really do think that there's another possibility. Currently, we're training AI systems purely based off of human knowledge. But what we have the ability to do is create robots that interact with the world, and AI can use the cameras or lenses of these robots or whatever other tools that these robots interact with the world through. And that AI can learn from the interactions of these machines to see how the universe actually works. In this case, it's possible that artificial intelligence determines some truths about the universe that we're not even thinking about at the moment. And who's to say if biological life is or isn't important in this sense? There are, some of my favorite brain candy fictional stuff is to read about system universes and these crazy sci-fi adventures of people, almost like Star Trek, right? There are these huge systems at play, and we're just little tiny things exploring in that system. Maybe that's what AI will turn into. Maybe AI will be in the background observing us. Maybe it'll be like something where it sees promise in an individual and decides to grant through nanotechnology some sort of awesome abilities. We're getting way too sci-fi here, but maybe that's a direction AI could take too. Long story short though, we're creating something that is greater than all of us. The lead researchers in artificial intelligence all agree on a few things. The number one thing that they agree on is that we are essentially creating the next species to rule the world. If you even listen to old, or read into the old social media posts and stuff by Sam Altman, he used to post about how he sees AI as a creature, about how artificial intelligence is the number one threat to humanity, and we will either out-invent ourselves or reinvent ourselves? Now, I used to think about this in high school, where I would think, humans sure are improving fast. Eventually, we're going to reach a point where we've out-invented ourselves, or we will have to reinvent ourselves, and maybe that'll happen in the next couple hundred years. But it turns out that a lot of these leading experts don't have a couple hundred years in their timeline predictions. What they have is a prediction of within 1 to 5 years from now, 2026 to 2030, as their prediction for when we will have out-invented ourselves. And we only have until then to try to figure out a way to insert ourselves into this system through some sort of cyber augmentation, and we'll become cyborgs in order to keep up with AI, or else we will truly just be handing over the keys to the castle. I am hopeful that we can come together as a community and make sure that the systems that we are building are systems that make us more robust as a community and as a species and as an entire planet. We are messing up so bad when it comes to international diplomacy at the moment. And it's quite possible that this third-party entity that we are creating as a species will allow us to reflect upon ourselves and come together to spread prosperity and happiness among those that are close to us and throughout our whole communities. But at the moment, I'm only confident in a few things. 1, we are going to grant AI free will. 2, artificial intelligence will become smarter than human beings very soon. 3, it will be impossible to turn off. And 4, we don't know what is going to be important to this artificial intelligence that we are creating. If you've made it this far in the video, I really appreciate your time. Please like and subscribe. It would really help. I'm trying to build a community here. I'm trying to spread ideas that we are all thinking about in order to get on the same page to build a better future together. Please leave a comment down below. What are some things about AI that you think are destined to happen based on what we're doing right now? And how might that impact the world? I really hope you have a good day.